Hello everyone, we are from Group 3. I am Adinda Sinugati.
And my name is Aisyah Zantal Sapila.
And I'm Agita Widya.
And I'm Arina Kurata Yunin.
This is our presentation about A Midsummer Night's Dreams by William Shakespeare. A Midsummer Night's Dream is a fantastical comedy that interweaves multiple storylines involving love, magic, and transformation. The play is set in Athens and a nearby enchanted forest, where the lives of several groups of characters intersect in humorous and unexpected way. It's written by William Shakespeare, who was a well-known English poet, playwright, and actor who was born in 1564 in the town of Stratford-upon-Avon. His birthday is usually celebrated on April 23rd, which is also thought to be the day he passed away in 1616. Shakespeare was a very productive writer during the Elizabethan and Jacobean periods of British theatre, which are also known as the English Renaissance or the early modern period. Shakespeare's plays are probably his most famous works, but he didn't only write for the theatre. Shakespeare also wrote a lot of poems that are still widely enjoyed today. People all around the world keep reading and enjoying them. What happened in that era? English Tudor literature. First, Renaissance and New Learning. In the Tudor era, there was a Renaissance or rebirth of learning. People studied old Greek and Roman ideas again. Art, science, and literature became more important. Humans are seen as strong and intelligent and not only as sinners. This made people more confident and creative. 2. Big discoveries and science. During this time, there were many explorations and discoveries. For example, Columbus found the New World, and Magellan traveled around the world. Science also changed with new ideas from thinkers like Francis Bacon. People started to learn by experiment, not only from religion. Third, the Reformation or religious change. The Tudor era had a big religious conflict called the Reformation. King Henry VIII broke from the Roman Catholic Church and made the Church of England. After that, England changed between Catholic and Protestant under different rules. This caused tension, punishment, and even execution. Fourth, growth of England and literature. England became stronger and more powerful, especially after defeating the Spanish Armada in 1588. At the same time, English literature grew fast. Writers like Shakespeare and Marlowe appeared. English language became more important than Latin, and national identity became stronger. Historical background of A Midsummer Night's Dreams. A Midsummer Night's Dreams was written in the Elizabethan era and is influenced by the festival of Midsummer Eve, where people celebrate with bonfires and believe in magic and spirits. At the time, many people still believed that fairies and supernatural beings were real, so the idea appears in the play, like the character Puck or Robin Goodfellow. The story is set in ancient Athens, which was familiar to people because of Greek and Roman myth. Some people also think this play was made for a wedding because it talks a lot about love and marriage. Shakespeare was inspired by writers like Chaucer, Ovid, and Plutarch. In that time, Queen Elizabeth I was sometimes called the Fairy Queen, which is similar to the character Titania in the play.
So the next one is the historical context in the story. So the first is the Elizabethan society and beliefs. So about the role of marriage, in the Elizabethan time, marriage was mostly about social and financial benefits, not love. Families usually pick their partners for their children to get more money or a higher position in society. We can see this in a play when Aegeus forces Hermia to marry Demetrius even though she does not want to. So the next one is about the importance of obedience. in those days, children had to listen to and obey their fathers. Because Hermia refused to marry the man her father chose, people around her would have seen this as very shameful. This shows the struggle between what a person wants and what society expects. And then about the Elizabethan gender roles. Society had very clear and strict rules about how men and women should behave. Men held all the power and women were expected to do what men told them. In the play, important decisions about Hermia and Helena are made by men. For example, Theseus had the legal right to decide what happened to Hermia. However, the play also shows a different kind of woman through Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazon. Even though she lost in war, she is shown as a strong and independent woman. This gives us a more modern idea of what women can be like for that time. The next one is the Elizabethan theater. The first one is Globe Theater. The Globe Theater was an open-air venue, so plays were performed in daylight with a very simple stage. Because of this, Shakespeare could not use lighting or special effects to show the magical forests and fairies. Instead, he used rich and descriptive language to help the audience imagine these scenes. The audience include people from all social classes, so the play was written to entertain everyone, from educated noble to ordinary workers. This is why A Midsummer Night Dream includes both smart wordplay and simple physical comedy. And then about the role of actors. In Shakespeare's time, all actors were men. Women were not allowed to perform on stage because it was seen as improper. So young boys played the female characters such as Hermia, Helena, and Titania. This is interesting because the play is about love and identity, and the female roles were actually played by males. The next one is about the Elizabethan views on dreams. About dreams and the unconscious. In the past, people believed that dreams could show a person's hidden feelings or carry special message. In A Midsummer Night Dream, the strange and confusing feelings that happen to the character in the forest feel like a dream. At the end of the play, Puck asks the audience to think of everything they watch as just a dream. This shows that people at the time believed in the line between reality and dreams were not always clear. The title of the play also gives us a hint about this idea. Midsummer was the time the people connected with magic and celebration, and dreams suggest that what happened in the story may not be completely real. Together, they tell us that the play lives somewhere between fantasy and reality. So the next is other literary work. In the Elizabethan era, there is another famous literary work titled Euphus, The Anatomy of Wit by John Lyly. The story tells about Euphus as a smart young man who keeps making bad decisions, especially in love and friendship. He is in love with a woman who's close with his friend. Then he rejected by the woman and at the end, he realizes his mistake. Most of the part of the book is letters and advice about how to behave, get an education, and handle relationship. The book says young people should control their feelings. They should not act too fast. They need to think first before they do something. This book famous because of its writing style. It is written with euphemism, which use a style with balanced sentence, many comparison, and beautiful, flowery language. Then this style influenced a lot of other writers from that era.
Language style. A Midsummer Night's Dream is written in early modern English, the form of English spoken in England during the late 16th and early 17th centuries, which is somewhat different from the English spoken today. A Midsummer Night's Dream uses two main types of language, verse and prose. Verse is a poetic language with rhythm, while prose is ordinary everyday speech. Noble characters like Theseus and fairies speak in verse, while common characters like the mechanical speak in prose. Shakespeare uses this difference to create humor, especially when Titania speaks beautifully to Bottom, but Bottom replies in simple, plain language. The play also uses a lot of wordplay and poetic language, especially when characters talk about love. Some characters speak in a very dramatic and exaggerated way after the magic love potion is used, which makes the audience laugh because they know the feelings are not real. Overall, the language in this play is clever, funny, and poetic. And the dialogue. This is the example of dialogue Hermia and Lysander telling each other of how being awful being to love someone. And next, The monologues. This is Hermia talking with herself, looking for Lysander. And this is the plot. Exposition. The play opens in Athens, where Theseus is preparing for a wedding to Hippolyta. Aegeus, a nobleman, seeks Theseus' help because his daughter Hermia refuses to marry Demetrius, the suitor he has chosen for her. Hermia is in love with Lysander. Theseus gives Hermia an ultimatum: marry Demetrius, face death, or live as a nun. Hermia and Lysander decided to flee to the forest to escape Athenian law. They confide their plan to Helena, who is in love with Demetrius. Helena, hoping to gain favor with Demetrius, tells him of their plan, and he follows them into a forest. A group of Athenian craftsmen, the Mechanicals, plan to perform a play, Pyramus and Thisbe, for Theseus and Hippolyta's wedding. Nick Bottom, a weaver, is particularly enthusiastic and wants to play all the roles. They agree to rehearse in the forest. Rising action. In the enchanted forest, Oberon and Titania, the king and the queen of the fairies, are in conflict over a changeling boy. Oberon decided to use magical flower, whose treasures cause love at first sight. To punish Titania, he instructed Puck, his mischievous servant, to fetch the flower. Oberon overhears Helena and Demetrius arguing and orders Puck to use the flower juice and Demetrius, so he will love Helena. Climax. Oberon then sneaks up to the sleeping Titania and drops the potion on her eyes. Meanwhile, Puck mistakes Lysander for Demetrius and applies the poison to Lysander's eyes. Lysander wakes and falls in love with Helena, abandoning Hermia. Hermia wakes up alone and searches for Lysander. Near when Titania is sleeping, the Mechanicals practice their play in the forest. Pacuo is observing them, finds funny that they can't recall their ghosts or lines. Then Puck transforms Bottom's head into an ass head, and the other Mechanicals flee in fear. Not knowing what happens and thinking his friend ran away as a joke, Bottom sings to show he is frightened. Titania is awakened by his song, and she falls in love right away. Following action, Oberon realizes Puck's mistake and orders him to apply the potion to Demetrius. Now both Lysander and Demetrius are in love with Helena, causing confusion and conflict. Helena believes they are mocking her. Hermia is distraught over Lysander's rejection. Oberon instructs Puck to fix the situation and by applying an antidote to Lysander's eyes and leading the lovers to sleep. Resolution. Titania, still enchanted, dotes on Bottom. Oberon takes pity on her and removes the enchantment. Titania and Oberon reconcile. Theseus and Hippolyta hunting in the forest find the sleeping lovers. Theseus overrules Aegeus and declares that the lovers will marry their chosen partners, Lysander with Hermia and Demetrius with Helena. Bottom wakes bewildered by his dream.
The Mechanicals' worries about Bottom disappears are relieved when he returns. They prepare to perform their play at the wedding celebration. Theseus, Hippolyta, and the lovers watch the Mechanicals' comedically bad performance of the Pyramus and Thisbe. Despite its flaws, and the play is amusing. After the performance, the newlyweds retire. Puck delivers the closing speech, asking the audience to think of the play as a dream if it has to offend it.
And then there are the characters. The first is the main character, Hermia. She is the daughter of the powerful nobleman Aegeus. She falls in love with Lysander, but her father wants her to marry Demetrius. Under Athena's law, father can choose who their daughter marry. If Hermia disagrees, she has to die or become a nun. The next is Lysander. He is Hermia's boyfriend. He pursues Hermia to defy her father and run away with him. He promised to marry her at his own house. In the forest, a love spell makes him fall in love with Helena and treat Hermia very badly. Helena. Helena is Hermia's best friend. They have known each other since they were at school. Helena is totally in love with Demetrius, but he only has eyes for Hermia. She tells Demetrius about Hermia's secret plan to run away. She allows Demetrius to make a fool of her and be cruel to her. The next is Demetrius. Hermia's dad wants Demetrius to marry Hermia. Even though Hermia doesn't want him back, he is determined to marry her. Hermia's best friend Helena is in love with him, but he treats her very badly. At the end, Demetrius realizes that Helena is his true love after all. The next is Aegeus. Aegeus is a nobleman in Athens, a friend of the Duke and Hermia's father. He would rather his daughter to put to death than allow her to marry the man she loves.
The next is Theseus, Duke of Athens. He is soon to be married to Hippolyta. He is busy making wedding plans when Demetrius tells them all that he is in love with Helena after all and proposes a triple wedding ceremony. The next is Hippolyta. Hippolyta is queen of Amazon. She lost a battle against Duke of Athens and now she is getting married to him. And then Philostrate, Darius' servant. And there are Peter Quince. He is a carpenter and the director of the play Pyramus and Thisbe. Next Padam. He is a weaver, playing the lead part of Pyramus' Queen's play. Make his head change to be an ass. Under a spell, the queen of the fairies fell in love with him. And the next, Francis Flute. He is Philomander. He played the female part of Thisbe. Next, Tom Snout. He is a handyman. He is an actor in Queen's play as Thisbe's father. Snug. He is cabinet maker. He is playing the role of the lion. Robin Starveling. He is a tailor. His role in the play is Thisbe's mother. Next is Oberon. He is the king of the fairies. He used a love spell to get revenge on his wife Titania. With Puck's help, he wants to help Helena get Demetrius' love. The next is Titania. She is the queen of the fairy, frightened with her husband Oberon because he wants to take the little boy that she has adopted to join his fairy gang. Oberon charms her so that he falls in love with the Nyctophilus, who is under spell. Robin Goodfellow. Oberon's Puck right headman. He puts love potion in Lysander's eye rather than Demetrius. He also gives Bottom his ass head. A fairy, a Puck who worked for Titania. And the next, Peace Blossom, Cobweb, Moth, and Mustard, Titania's servant who served Bottom. Setting. The first is in Athens, when Aegeus complains his daughter disagreed to marry Demetrius and fall in love with Lysander. At night in the wood, when Hermia and Lysander run away to go to Lysander's own and are followed by Demetrius and Helena. In the midnight in the wood, when Lysander and Demetrius are under spell and fight to get Helena's love. And the next in the morning in the woods, when Hermia, Lysander, Demetrius, and Helena wake up and meet Theseus, Aegeus, and Hippolyta. In Athena in the evening, Theseus, Hippolyta, Hermia, Lysander, Demetrius, and Helena were watching Quince and his actor play. And this is the example of the stage direction. The first is Theseus, Hippolyta, entered with Philostrate, and others, in the beginning of the play. Titania waking up. When Titania wake up and fall in love with Bottom under Oberon's spell. Robin, in Demetrius' voice, when Robin tried to separate Lysander and Demetrius. And the last, Lysander, Demetrius, Helena, and Hermia get up, when they were wake up in the morning.
And these are the results for our presentation video.
Thank you for watching our video.